So, you enjoyed what the Sentinel class had to offer and wanted to main a Sentinel, but not sure which one? Well, we're here to help you figure out which Sentinel fits your playstyle and how they affect your team. But before we get into each Sentinel, let's go over some terminology we'll be using in this video. Area control slows down enemy momentum not through damage or stuns, but by limiting vision and second-guessing decisions, such as smokes, blinds, or flashes. Area denial completely stops enemy momentum by different means, such as damage, stuns, and slows. If enemies walk through an area denial, it will cause damage or crowd control. Some forms of area denial are mollies, sucks, and tripwires. Intel is taking control of a summon and using their eyes to gain information for the team. Enemies are seen through only the deployable used by the user. With the terminology out of the way, let's start with our first Sentinel, Sage. Sage, like Brimstone from our previous video, is your basic Sentinel character. Her signature ability is her heal, which heals anyone for 60 health on a 45-second cooldown. This is a great ability since it is the only single target heal in the game. Sage also has great area denial and control with her wall and slow orbs. Her wall stops any enemies in their tracks as they either have to break her wall or find another route to take. Sage's wall is incredibly strong area denial ability as it completely stops a push and also gives you intel that enemies will most likely not be pushing the area with a wall in it, so that you can position yourself better for the incoming duels at different angles. Her slow orbs are a decent area control ability, slowing enemies caught in the radius. It lasts for 6 seconds and she has 2 charges of them, so the slow orbs are able to hold off enemies for a decent amount of time. Sage's ultimate, Resurrection, is exactly what the name implies. Sage revives a fallen ally, bringing them back to full health and with the utility they died with. Sage's ult can change the course of the round immensely. Going from a 2v2 to a 3v2 gives you much better odds at winning the round. If you enjoy playing a classic support role of healing and applying crowd control, then Sage is the Sentinel for you. CYPHER is your spy-like Sentinel in Valorant, as his kit allows him to be sneaky and gain intel. Let's start with his signature ability, his spy cam. CYPHER is able to place a camera at a wall near him. Once deployed, CYPHER can activate to look through the camera, acting as intel. If CYPHER spots an enemy through his camera, he can shoot a dart at them. If the dart hits the enemy will be pinged on the map and highlighted yellow until they personally remove the dart. CYPHER's cam has 2 properties which makes it extremely unique and powerful. Inherently, the camera itself is an intel ability as CYPHER can see enemies that cannot see him. And with the dart aspect of the cam, it becomes a recon ability as it pings that marked player on the map exactly like Sova's recon dart. If you can find a sneaky spot for CYPHER's cam to work, it can be extremely useful in any scenario. CYPHER also has 2 forms of area denial and control, with his tripwires and cyber cage. His tripwires allow him to place a trip between 2 walls on the map. If an enemy connects with them, they'll become tethered and have to either kill the trip or become concussed for 3 seconds. CYPHER also says a voice line, and his trips activate on the minimap whenever an enemy connects with them, giving the tripwire intel properties. CYPHER's cyber cage is a smoke deployable that CYPHER can place and activate later in the round. Once activated, a round cage-like smoke appears, and any enemies who walk through it will create a sound effect that CYPHER and his allies can hear. Unfortunately, CYPHER has one of the weakest ults in the game, even though it only costs 6 ultimate orbs. It doesn't provide enough info to be that resourceful. CYPHER's ult, Neural Threat, can be only used if an enemy has died nearby CYPHER. CYPHER can then scan their body and reveal the location of all remaining enemies for 2 seconds. His ult, while in theory should be really good, just isn't that great due to different weaknesses. His first one being that it has to be used on a dead enemy's body, and the second one is that it only pings the location of enemies once. Even though his ult is a bit lackluster, CYPHER can still be played as a Sentinel and he does it well. If you like to be able to gain intel through more supportive ways than aggressive ways, then CYPHER is the Sentinel for you. KILLJOY is the deployable Sentinel, as all of her abilities can be equipped and deployed onto the battlefield. KILLJOY's signature ability is her turret. She can deploy her turret to watch an area in a 180-degree cone. The turret will make a noise and shoot at anyone who comes in line of sight of it. The turret has 125 health and can be destroyed. Once destroyed, it has a 45-second cooldown to be deployed again. She also has 2 forms of area control and area denial with her nano swarms and her alarm bot. Her nano swarms are deployable mollies that can be activated whenever Killjoy wants them to. They deal a decent amount of damage and stall enemies for a good amount of time. Her alarm bot can be deployed and will turn itself invisible against enemies. If an enemy comes close to the alarm bot, it will wake up, create a sound, and explode on the enemy, giving them the vulnerable status for 4 seconds. One thing to note on Killjoy is that her turret and alarm bot both have activation radiuses. If Killjoy moves too far away from her bots, they will turn off and not be able to use her utility. Killjoy's ultimate is called Lockdown, which creates a huge circular zone around the device she plants. After a 13-second windup, any enemies caught in the lockdown zone will be detained for 8 seconds. Being detained stops enemies from using their weapons or abilities and reduces their movement speed. Killjoy is one of the best agents to use while holding down the site. She has so much stationary utility that entering a site that Killjoy has set up on is a death trap. If you enjoy a support who uses deployables and zoning tools to become successful, then Killjoy is the Sentinel for you. Our last Sentinel, but certainly not least, is everyone's favorite Frenchman, Chamber. Chamber supports his team through his assortment of weapons he has. Chamber plays more like a duelist than pure Sentinel, but he still has supportive capabilities. His signature ability is his Rendezvous, which are a pair of stationary teleports he can put a certain distance away from each other. Chamber can activate the ability on top of one Rendezvous to teleport to the other. This ability allows Chamber to take those initial risky duels safely, as he can peek, take a shot, and immediately teleport away without the enemy having time to see him. He also has a slowing trap that he can place. If an enemy comes near his trademark, the trap activates, slowing all enemies in an area for a duration. He also has a built-in sheriff called Headhunter. Chamber can buy up to 8 bullets max per round in the shot, and can save them throughout multiple rounds. This ability is a great econ ability, as he doesn't need to spend as much money on a save round, because instead of buying a whole gun, he can just buy bullets. Chamber's ultimate, Tour de Force, is an extremely powerful operator that gives him 5 bullets and one-shots enemies if they got hit in the head or body. If Chamber kills an enemy, he summons a trademark slow at the location of their death. Chamber's ultimate can single-handedly win a round for the team. If he is perched at a site and the enemy walks in, he's bound to get at least 1 or 2 kills with the one-shot capabilities. If you enjoy using an arsenal of weapons to support the team, then Chamber is the Sentinel for you. Well, those are currently all the Sentinels in Valorant as of now. Which one fits your playstyle the best? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to stay updated. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.